So we've got our first pod back today with me, Lily. I'm DCTUK's Product Marketing Executive, and I'm joined with the lovely
Margaret.
Margaret is here with me today to talk through some questions about you. So I think what we'll do to start off is you just tell me and everyone who's watching a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name's Margaret.
Yes.
I was obviously got a funny accent, so a little bit of background on that.
Go on, yeah.
My parents are Scottish. I was born in Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe.
Wow.
Raised in South Africa, and moved over here in '95 as a teenager. Nice. I was in guiding in South Africa, and through that, I actually got the highest award that I could get as a ranger in South Africa.
Oh,
and then when I moved over here, I ended up getting back into guiding and being a young leader. So a young leader is someone who is like 14 to 18, and kind of like a teaching assistant, where they help run the games or activities, that kind of thing. And then eventually ended up at one point being the Rainbow Brownie and guide leader.
Oh my goodness.
At the age of 19.
Wow. There must have been a lot of pressure, a lot of commitment as well.
It was, but it was fun. And then eventually I became a Duke of Edinburgh assessor, and then a supervisor.
Amazing.
And then in 2010, I got involved in scouting after my first was born. So I've got 2 boys.
Oh, okay.
And it was basically the group needed more leaders, and if they didn't have the leaders, it would close down.
Of course.
So I went to help out and started as like an assistant leader, and then through changes of other people's having different things going on in their lives, I ended up being the leader, and then I ended up being the group scout leader, or now because they're going through rebranding change, it's group lead volunteer.
Oh, very nice.
Yes. So basically, I work in a preschool as well.
Yes.
I've got my darling husband who puts up with me and my madness, and all the camps that I go on. And then there's my mother who would do anything for her children and for her grandchildren. And then I've got my 2 little fur babies.
Dogs, cats.
Cats. I've got an 18-year-old rascal. Yeah, she's still going. She's gone deaf, but she's still going.
She's still going.
And then I've got a meerkat. No, it is actually a cat.
It is a cat, but it's called meerkat.
It's called meerkat.
Oh my god, that's so smart. I love that. I love cats.
And I thought she was going to be a mancoon.
All right.
Right?
Oh, no.
But she's got really big fluffy tail.
Yeah.
And anytime there's any cheese, she's there.
Is she?
Yeah. Got to pay the cheese tax.
Of course, always.
We got her in 2019.
Oh, so she's still only young.
Yeah.
Really.
Her full name is Meerkat Fluffquins 19.
I love that. What's your cat called?
Rascal.
Just
Rascal, because what I wanted to call her was Shite, because she was like one of those.
Yeah.
Because she kept going for my feet, always my feet, never my husband's. But I knew every time my mom was in our living accommodations, she would kind of like whack me if I said that. So we called her Little Rascal instead.
Little Rascal. I think it's a suitable name. You have to show me some pictures of her. I think I love that. I'd love to see them.
Definitely.
And your boys, so you've got 2 boys, you said. And are they, how old are they? Are they in Scouts or?
So I've got 9-year-old who is Carson. He was a beaver for a time, and then he's decided it's not for him.
Okay.
And then Stephen, who's my 14-year-old, who's going to hate that I'm mentioning this to everybody. He's been a beaver, a cub, and he's currently a scout.
Oh my goodness, wow.
And he's just got to do just a couple more modules, a couple more badges, and then he's got his gold award, which is the highest level you can get as a scout.
I bet you're so proud.
I am.
But following in your footsteps.
Especially because both of them, my youngest has been confirmed ADHD on the pathway for autism, and my eldest, he has got what they call, in the old days, global language developmental delay, but now they call it developmental language delay.
Oh, right. And what is that?
So basically, if we do like ages, what you expect a 5-year-old to do,
Yeah.
he couldn't do at 5. He was more like a 2-year-old.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So he can grow out of it, and he has grown out of some of the traits that he had, but it's still one of those working progresses.
Difficult. I actually grew up with someone who had something, I think it was similar. He was at a stage where he, when we were in class, so for English, for example, obviously you're answering questions to comprehensions and, writing essays and stuff like that, and he couldn't properly form those sentences that everyone was able to do in the class. So the teachers obviously had to kind of teach him differently. Yeah. And this brings me on to actually a good question that I was going to say later, but I may as well say it now that you said that. So obviously you've got 2 children with some sort of kind of learning difficulty, would you say? Would you call it a difficulty? What would you call it? I want to use a proper term here.
Well, some people call them neurodiverse.
Right.
Other people, they've started using it neurospicy.
Neurospicy? Well, my little brother's actually neurospicy as well. He's just been diagnosed with ADHD, so we'll call him neurospicy too. Yeah. And so with these neurospicy children, if you get them coming to Scouts, how do you deal with them? How do you teach them? Is there a certain way you go about it? Do you not want to make them feel like they're separate from everyone else?
Well, our Scout group, Scouting in the UK, full stop, is meant to be inclusive.
Yeah.
So when it comes to any of the badges, it's meant to be to the best of the child's abilities.
Yes.
So we as a group actually, there was one night and it just came to me and we started doing a separate night. So we call our ND night. Might change it to NS night for neurospicy. And basically it's a night where they're a beaver, a couple of Scout. We now have got the squirrels, which are the 2 to 4 year olds.
Yes, John told me about this as well.
So basically them and their parent or the carer come along. And it gives them the opportunity to get used to our hall, get used to the sounds, get used to the people. Yeah. If there's any meltdowns, we can see how the parents deal with it, that kind of thing. But to give them the opportunity to work towards the badges, to give them that more time.
Of course.
So they can be just ND, they can go to the mainstream night, they can do both. But I was explaining that we do it like it's a baby pool before the ocean.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that's a perfect explanation for it.
So we've had quite a few children who have started just on the ND. We've got 2 on the books that are just ND only. And they're going to be like that for a while, I think. Yeah. But they are still part of the group. And we don't charge extra for it. It's still within. Yeah. They're still considered, like if it's a beaver, they're still considered a beaver. So if there's going to be a beaver camp, they get invited to it. Amazing. If the parents and the child want to do it, we will make it work.
Oh, that's lovely. That's great. I think that's brilliant that it's so inclusive as well, because I feel like that's what children nowadays need as well. They need that inclusivity, especially if it's kind of like, when they struggle in school. It's good to have something extra outside, which gives them kind of more confidence to, be who they want to be and be themselves and try and actually put the hand up in class and, say what they need to say. Yeah. That's brilliant.
That's one thing I like. Our Scout group, we try to be as inclusive as possible. It's about catering to the child's need or the adult's need, but it's about making it in a way so that nobody else sees the difference. Yeah. So we've got bands that are red on one side and on the other side they're green. So everybody can wear them.
All right.
Okay. And the red side says, I'm not okay, leave me be. And the green side says, I'm okay, talk to me.
That's very good.
So whether they're neurospicy or not, they can wear it.
Oh,
and
right.
If they don't feel comfortable to say, excuse me, I'm not happy with this, they can turn it over and they can do it.
That's brilliant.
We also have, so one of the rooms that you guys tiled for us, carpeting, absolutely brilliant. No, seriously, no one can tell that it's actually tiles. No one can tell. Like
so good.
The kids have literally been on the floor trying to find it and they can't. Oh, and by the way, the Hoover.
Oh, do you like it?
Oh my gosh,
it's working well. Oh gosh,
it's a quiet Hoover.
They're
like
really good.
seriously,
Did
like
you get the one with the DCTUK stickers on, or was it just another one? I think
it was another one.
It was the other ones. Yeah. They're
But,
brilliant.
yeah.
They're
So
good.
we've got a small room that now that carpeting's done,
Yeah.
we've had the plastering done. We're going to be decorating it up, and we're turning it into a chill space.
Oh, I love that.
So we've got a drawer already, which has got fidgets in it, and it's got we've got some weighted blankets for anybody who needs it. They can just come and grab it. But we're going to have that in the room, and today we actually have a Halloween party, and it's currently being turned into a movie room.
Oh my God.
So when I left there today, they were watching Hotel Transylvania on the wall, and we were like,
love it.
Love is getting used.
That's so good.
So yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And all the kids, every single person, neurospicy or not, has been like, oh my God, it's changed the sound. Because before it was so bad.
Yeah, was it? Like quite echoey in there.
It was very echoey.
Yeah.
Like from across the hall, I could hear what a young leader was saying to another young leader. And when you're like, I do not want to be privy to this information. No. Don't want to know this. And you're like, shh.
You don't want to know.
So yeah, it's a lot better.
Oh,
so we are so mega happy.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad to hear that it's all perfect for you. It's very exciting with the quiet room and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When I was in primary school, we actually had it was called a quiet corner.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a room or anything, but we had beanbags in there. We had like the drawers with fidget spinners in when they were crazy at the time, and beanbags and stuff like that. And then we also had one outside too, where you could kind of like touch things that are like stimulate you and stuff, like bark and sand and everything like that. So I think it definitely helped all of us. When someone needed a minute, they were like, I need to go outside now, and I need to like just take a minute to breathe. And it's really
It is really.
Oh, so I know like you've got rainbows, brownies, guides, and that is female
only.
Female only, yeah. Is Scouts female only, or is it a mix, or do you find males going to Scouts more? So,
girl guiding is predominantly female only, or for those who identify as female.
Of course.
I don't know what their policies were. I used to be in girl guiding as a leader as well. At one point, someone who was male and identified as male could not go above like as an assistant leader.
Right.
They couldn't be the leader in charge, but they could be just below.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like now, though.
Yeah.
In scouting, we are male, female, and it doesn't matter. So we tend to find that sometimes we'll have a girl who does rainbows, but also does beavers. Because rainbows, they're getting that side of things, but then at beavers, they're actually getting to let out their inner rascal. They're in a self, and they get to be a little bit more boisterous and things like that. So it's definitely inclusive. I think
that's good.
The badges that they do, they can choose what badges they want to work on.
Oh, brilliant. Well, that was a question that you just answered. Thank you for that.
So each section, they have their own, they've got activity badges, and then you've got stage badges, and then you've got like your challenges.
Yeah.
So the stage badges actually follow them all the way through.
Well,
So like, for example, if you had like someone who was a beaver, so if they started doing nights away, it carries all the way through with them to a cub and a scout, and then explorer if they go on to that. So yeah, it's really good how that happens.
It is good. It is. Would you say kind of like the guides and brownies is very similar to what you guys do in the Scouts? Would you say, or obviously I know that you said it's a little bit more boisterous and a little bit more, would you say it's more outdoorsy? I feel like when I was in brownies, we did a lot of internal things where it was kind of like, not to kind of contain, females to do like arts and crafts or anything like that, but it was very arts and craftsy. It was very baking when I was a child.
When I was a leader in guiding, I found it depended on your leader.
Yeah.
So if your leader, if her go-to was crafts, that's what you did. So you do Mother's Day crafts, you do Father's Day crafts, you do Easter, you do Valentine's Day, all of that. I don't know, I can't say, but when I left girl guiding, the program had been changing, and the level I was at was the 14 to 18-year-olds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was the leader for that. And the syllabus, it was more like a school syllabus.
Yeah.
And the way guiding has gone for me is there's a top award, but it's gold, 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 gold for each of them. Whereas in scouting, it's acorn for the squirrels, bronze, silver, gold, and then it's platinum.
Oh, right.
And then it's then they've got diamond.
Oh, so you're constantly working your way up.
You're working your way up and up and up. So you can actually feel like you're getting more out of it. Mm-hmm. So I felt a bit sad because I felt like girl guiding was moving away from the core life skills. Yeah. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I hated doing the hostess badge when I was a brownie, learning how to make a cup of tea.
Yeah, not good. And then coming in
with the pot, with the teapot, and making sure
really well. And you're doing it properly, and you have to make sure nothing spills. I remember it very well with selling brownies.
Yeah. So I know they moved away from that, but like they got rid of like the tradition of girl guiding badges and things like that. So it made my heart sore.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it does when you've got a real connection with something and you kind of see it almost like slip away from the ideal that you have of it. It's like, it's underwhelming almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we actually had one of my current beaver leaders came to me. Originally, she was one of the Scouts' step siblings.
Right.
And she would come and she'd pick her up, but she'd always have a look and see what we were doing at Scouts. And I was like, why don't you come and join us? And she was like, well, I can't because I'm 14. I was like, well, you could be a young leader. And she was like, what's that? I'm like, kind of like a prefect. You get to run games, you get to run activities. Oh, that was it. She was like, the next week she was there.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And she's still there now.
Oh my gosh.
When our beaver leader needed to step down due to work and family and things like that, she was actually training to become the assistant leader to work with him.
Wow.
And she said to me, I know I'm only 18, but can I be the beaver leader? And I was like, of course you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, I've been the young section leader. I can help you with that. If you have any problems with the parents, that kind of thing, that you let me know. But my only problem is I'm going to have to hold her back because she's absolutely brilliant. So she's been in the role now for over 2 years because she's 20 now, and she is absolutely epic.
That's brilliant.
And it's it's now her. She's now our. I say she. They them. She's also our squirrel leader. Yeah. So she's a squirrel and beaver leader, but she helps out at Cubs and she helps out at Scouts.
Oh, wow.
So she's with the kids all the way through as well, but she also helps with our neurodiverse night.
Lovely.
So she's absolutely brilliant, and I could not ask for anyone better.
I hope she watches this.
I do too.
She'll be feeling very good about this.
She better.
All this talk about her. It's amazing.
But she's got a younger sibling who is now known as, funnily enough, my beaver leader's name was chosen by the beavers at the time, and her scouting name is Meerkat.
You are joking. And they chose it.
They chose it.
Oh my goodness.
But now her younger sibling has been helping us out during the squirrel nights and that, because it's just before the Cubs are on. Yeah. And she's been absolutely brilliant. Oh. So she's mini Meerkat.
Oh.
So we've got a nice little thing going on.
That's so cute.
My scouting name is Smurf because my hair used to be blue.
Oh, did it? Would you change it now, do you reckon, because it's green and purple? Or?
Well, I've been told by one child that he wanted to call me a raspberry, and I was like, no, it's not red, it's purple, so it's more grapey.
Yeah, more grape.
Don't call me Annick Blonde, though.
No. I know that might be a little bit offensive.
Let's not do that one. But yeah.
Brilliant. So do you choose, so you said that the children usually choose the names. Is that usually a thing that happens for every leader, or?
So in our group, that's what we decided.
Oh, great. Okay.
So originally when I was the assistant scout leader, I was just Margaret.
Yeah.
But the beavers, we've got it was just easier for them.
Yeah.
So in the Cub section, though, they've already got their theme.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see if you can guess the theme. If I say the name Arcala,
Doesn't ring a bell.
Baloo.
Oh, is it the Jungle Book?
Yeah.
Okay.
So their theme is Jungle Book.
Oh, wow.
So when an adult starts, they can choose what they want from there.
From the Jungle Book. Oh my gosh.
So we've got a young leader called Kai.
Love. Yeah.
And we've got Baloo and Arcala.
Oh my goodness, that's so smart. So is anyone else doing that? So is it just...
So it seems to be most of the Cub sections, they have a Baloo and they have an Arcala.
Yeah.
When I was in Girl Guiding in South Africa, I had a captain.
Ah, right.
Who happened to be my science teacher
Oh my
at
goodness.
high school. So yeah, I had to on Remembrance Day. I had to make sure I wore my uniform to school.
Yeah,
otherwise, when I got to guides that night, I would be in big trouble.
Yeah.
You try walking around a high school when it's full of 13 to 18-year-olds, and you're the only one female uniform, and there's only one other scout.
Oh no.
And you're both walking around together like.
Nobody look at me. Don't look at me.
But the uniform back then, I would actually look like an air hostess
Oh,
because
did you?
of the hat that they had.
Everything. Oh my goodness, no
Yeah,
way.
I had to wear the hat.
Oh my gosh. It's quite stylish though, do you think?
Yeah.
Little
But
bit.
it used to have a little bit of finesse.
I
But
think people would want to wear it now. I think nowadays people would want to wear something like that. I feel like then we might be a little bit like, oh goodness.
But I know Girl Guiding and Scouting, both of them, when it comes to the badges and everything like that, they have heavily researched it and they've got their tester units and things like that. I hope there are still leaders out there that are still, doing the fundamentals of Girl Guiding. Because at the end of the day, guiding and scouting, we're from the same people.
Of course, yeah.
So it makes sense that we are working a line. I don't know if one day maybe they'll just come together and just be one organisation.
I wouldn't see why not, to be fair. I think that's not a bad idea.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot of politics behind that.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh, goodness.
yes.
You wouldn't think so, would you? You'd think it was all, sunshine, rainbows and badges, but really?
Yeah.
Oh, like a crazy amount, it's like a stressful amount. Wow.
Yeah. But I know in our district, so you've got your group, you've got your district, and then you've got your county.
Right.
So our group is first Weston Weston Point. Our district is Mersey Weaver, which covers Runcorn, Widnes, Frodsham, and Helsby, and there's more, and then there's one other. By Cheshire Oaks.
Around there. I know.
Around there. Yeah.
Around there. We'll add this in.
I know there's a First Norley and things like that.
Yeah.
So it does cover a big area.
Yeah.
And then our county is like Cheshire.
Yeah.
And then region is Northwest. So it's a growing thing, and our district, we have got children and adults taking part in activity, and I think my district commissioner, old term, new term is district lead volunteer.
Okay.
I think he would lynch me if I didn't do this, and I think some of the leaders who are going on the trip would lynch me as well. So they're going to Canisteg.
Right.
In Switzerland next year.
Okay.
So we have in our group, for the first time, we have actually got 4 now scouts going. We've got 2 young leaders and my beaver leaders going as well.
Amazing.
So we've got 7 of them going, and it's an absolutely wonderful experience. So in guiding and scouting, we've got world centres.
Okay.
So there's one down in London.
Yeah.
Which was Pax Lodge. And then we've got like Al Cabana in Girl Guiding in Mexico and Sangam in India.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And Al Chalet in Switzerland.
Yeah.
That's the Girl Guiding. Now the scouting ones, I'm not too sure of all of them, but you've got Pax Lodge down in London, and you've got Canisteg, which is in Switzerland, actually not that far away from Al Chalet, which is a great big huge massive place that's open all year round. They can camp, they can go skiing, you can go and it's all over the place and eat all the wonderful sweet Swiss chocolate. So I know that they are doing major fundraisings for that. So I don't know if anybody's listening to this. If you want to donate, I'm sure there's some GoFundMe pages.
I'm sure we can do something with that as well.
They would absolutely love it. It's an opportunity of a lifetime to go on this. I got to go to Switzerland twice, once as a young leader and once as a leader. The stress of being a leader.
Yeah,
I wasn't the leader in charge, but the stress of being just another leader on that. Wow.
Yeah.
But all of these opportunities, I love the fact that all of these children that are going, they have gone through like selection process and they've had like interviews and things like that. So, and they're just back from a team building experience.
Oh, wow.
And then some of them are coming on a camp with me this weekend.
Oh, my goodness, that's brilliant. Where about are you going?
So we're going to Queen Charlotte's Wood, which is over in Frodsham Way.
Yeah.
Well, between Frodsham and Helsby, really, kind of. But we're doing an indoor one, and it's meant to be just the Scouts, but we've got some of the Cubs coming as well. So the Scouts are going to be doing archery, rifle shooting.
Wow.
And crossbows. Oh, my goodness. So much fun.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun for you guys. It's so far away.
Yeah. They've got their own private shooting range.
That's brilliant. Wow. So do you do these trips quite a lot?
Yeah.
That is absolutely brilliant. It's lovely to hear stuff like this from, experiencing it myself and then seeing how far kind of like we've come along in that aspect. It's kind of like you've got a sense of like, I feel proud. Like it's good that it's like moving along.
Well, we when I was a guide leader, some of my girls wanted to get enrolled at the swimming pool. So we went to our local swimming pool in Widnes, and I had to have a conversation with the manager because I wasn't going to go and do this wearing just a swimming costume and basically get permission for me to be on the side of the pool.
Yeah.
But the girls wanted to do their promise, and then they wanted me to pin their enrollment badge to them, which I just ended up like pinning to round the strap.
Yeah.
But then they wanted me to push them in. And I was like, if anybody else sees me do this, I'm going to get done for child abuse.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I can't do that. So I literally just went, and they were like, ah, jumping into the water.
Oh my gosh.
But I've enrolled people on horseback, trying to get them to do this while they're riding a horse. There was a couple of girls who got enrolled just after they finished doing a canoeing session.
Oh, wow.
But they wanted me to tip them over. And I was like, I can't do that. So they capsized themselves.
That's brilliant. So they get to choose how
they get to choose how they get enrolled or invested as
I feel like that makes it a lot more enjoyable.
A lot more personal,
yeah. Yeah, it does. It does make the experience going into it. And then obviously the entire time, I would think that is more enjoyable for them as well because then they can go and tell their friends, I made my promise, I was enrolled on horseback or this and that.
I've seen in scouting, people invested while on a climbing wall.
Oh gosh, wow.
But my favourite investing is when we go to Merseymoot and we have a young leader and they get on the inflatable assault course. And at each stage of the assault course, I stop them and I make them say a part of it. And then at the end, they get to go down the slide and they're a young leader, officially enrolled.
Oh my God, how fun is that as well, though? It's much more different because when I made my promise in Brownie...
It was so serious.
Oh, it was. It was really scary. And I remember there was kind of like a few of us and we had everything in the middle. I think we had a mirror at the time where you look into the mirror.
Yes, the river.
Oh, yes, the river. Yeah. And so we looked into it and I think I made my promise with 4 other girls and 2 of them were my best friends, luckily. And then the other ones were just girls who I'd met. They were a little bit younger. And their parents were there. Yes. And my parents were there. Yeah. And my younger sibling was there. Yeah. And when you've got an
audience,
you're 7 or 8 and your 3-year-old sibling is there too, and you're like, And I was like, I'm not going to remember any of this. I've gone blank. I'm here. I'm literally 8 years old. I don't remember, like, how am I meant to do this?
I don't remember my name right now.
Oh, no. I don't even know what day it is. But literally, I just remember being like, oh my God. And I was so nervous to do it. And I just think that would have made me so much more comfortable. How would you do it now if you could? If you were making your promise, how would you be enrolled? I just thought of that question off the top of my head.
See, now, as my group know, I do love the fire.
Yeah.
I'm a firebug.
So am I.
So I would say around the campfire.
Really? That's nice.
But you got to throw some mystic fire in there.
You got to be like making it and all like.
Throw mystic fire
What's
in
mystic fire?
It makes the flames change colour.
Stop. Oh my goodness. And do you guys have that like on hand? What colour does it change? Oh,
it changes it. You normally get purples, blues, and greens. It's a chemical reaction. So like,
and can you get that out and about?
Yeah.
Asking for a friend.
Asda. Oh. Not Asda. Amazon.
Amazon. Okay.
Amazon.
Well,
Amazon.
I'll be on Amazon.
But you can't cook, so you can't toast your marshmallow over the purple flame.
Oh, of course.
Because of the chemicals.
Of course.
So you got to make sure everybody's had everything that they're going to have. Right, you're not having anything more now. Right, Mystic Fire time. But you should have seen their faces the first time I showed it to them, and we were doing like a Halloween night type thing, and like I just flung it into the fire and walked off, and suddenly it started going like purple and that, and they were like, ooh.
That's brilliant. Do you know what? I feel like that would be good for like a Harry Potter night or something as well. You know?
It is good.
How good would that be? So, to kind of like round it off here, with the children and, you know, from when they join and working their way up and stuff like that, do you think this kind of sets them up for their future in their career? Does it like help with their... So, say if I went and I was there from like 4 when I did it up and I was a leader and everything, and I'm like in my 20s and stuff, and then I'm still there. Does it help with employment?
Yeah.
Do people take you on, like, if you've got this?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, one thing I want to say is, you might be 20 now.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop you from joining if you want to.
Of course not.
Because
you've sold me. I think I actually might.
Because like you've got till you're 24 and 364 days old to complete your Duke of Edinburgh.
Oh, brilliant! Well, I tell you, I've done my bronze and my silver.
Right. Well,
and my gold actually got cut off because of COVID.
Right. So was it just your expedition that you were looking for?
Yeah.
So you need to go online on Facebook. There are loads of people that will actually do it and open gold walk for you.
Oh.
So
that's fabulous.
So you can still achieve it if that's all you're waiting for, and everything else is signed off and your residential's
and you're done and everything like that. Yeah.
And then you can go to James's Palace and get your business. But yes, so I know plenty of companies who, when they see that someone has got Duke of Edinburgh, whether it's bronze or just silver or just gold or all three, I know universities, speaking personally, they will see that on your resume, on your CV, and they will be like, oh, right, if this person can get through an expedition and still be alive at the end of it, they can cope with our team. Or they might say, oh, right, okay, so they can do that. They've done the Duke of Edinburgh, right, they've got teamwork, they've got leadership skills, they've got the gumption to stay and follow through. So I definitely, all of the things that we do, like we've got badges, like you've got the scientist badge that goes through most of the things. You've got the astrology badge that goes, astronomer, not astrology. We're not talking star signs, we're talking different star signs. But there's like the equestrian badge.
Oh yeah, of course.
That they can get. Where did that come from?
There's a floater.
But there's loads of badges there that you never know. They might actually find something that they're really interested in, and through that, then get a job out of it.
Well, I would hope so. Yeah, definitely. That's brilliant. Okay, well, I think that's all the questions that I have for you. You've been absolutely amazing. Is there anything else you kind of want to say to anyone out there, or for you guys on behalf of the Scouts and everything? Is there anything you would like to finish off with? I
would say, whether you are a 4-year-old, whether you are a 90-year-old, if you want to come and try it, come try it.
Yeah.
There is no age limit. We will find a place that will suit you. And not only do the children get something out of it, the adults get something out of it. Yes, it can be frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
But
as can anything, though.
As can anything. But it's the satisfaction of seeing these kids actually learn a new skill and be like, actually, I can do this.
Yeah.
But the amounts of leaders that we have that like, oh, I don't even know how to do a clove hitch knot. And they learn to do it and they're like, yes. And it's just something that they can achieve. Yeah. So I would say have a go. If the Scouts website, the Girl Guiding website, both of them have got links on there that you can, if you want to volunteer or if you want to find your nearest group to you, you can put your information on there. Some areas have their own waiting lists, but once you're on the waiting list, you can do it. Our Scout group, personally, our Beavers meet on a Monday, our Scouts meet on a Tuesday, our Squirrels and our Cubs meet on a Thursday, and on a Friday night we have the ND guys.
Lovely.
So it just depends on what. Yeah. I feel like I'm up there all the time. It's my second home.
Oh, that's lovely.
But yeah, just come and have a go.
Yeah.
There's no harm in trying.
There isn't. I would totally agree with that as well. Definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I hope everyone enjoys this episode. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting to know you. It's been absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.